Welcome to my new triathlon mission. I got inspired by some requests like Kota, but also Cynic's relay race to build this mission, and it went more smoothly than I expected. So I'm already making a video about it. And well, a triathlon consists of 3 disciplines, and bottom line, you want to come in fastest or first to win the triathlon. So the 3 disciplines are a canyon run, target bombing, and precision landing. I will walk you through the individual steps so that you know how to complete the task correctly. So for the canyon run, you want to fly out to waypoint 1. There's this red circle on the map that indicates where you need to enter the canyon. You need to enter the canyon below 10,000 feet. And when you fly through the canyon, you have to stay below 10,000 feet, otherwise your aircraft will explode. It will also explode if you decide to go astray and fly somewhere else. So there's a motivation to stay in the canyon. But not only this, the added motivation is also that the time in the canyon is counted differently, because it is multiplied with the altitude you fly. So basically it's the integral of the time and height that you fly here, and therefore going faster is advantageous, but going lower as well. And obviously this is contradicting targets, because you cannot go below treetop level in a jet, but you cannot go really fast in a helicopter either. So just try to find the best split between both to minimize the canyon time, which is a virtual time. In order to exit the canyon, you have to be below 1,000 feet. This is also the IP point, right? So once you pass that circle, your target will spawn here, including red smoke, to let you know what you need to bomb. So moving on to the second discipline, the drop bomb. You want to drop your bomb within that red circle, which if you do a dive bombing in CCIP mode, you ought to be fine. The target is an ammunition depot, so fairly hardened, not easy to crack, but I guess we might have multiple people dropping some stuff on it. The waypoint is deliberately to the left of that, because you can also use laser guided bombs. So the 3 bomb types that are available are pave weight 2s, for which you want to also carry a targeting pod. But we have Mark 84s or Beta B 500, the low drag version. So that will require you to do dive bombing, and you cannot just fly over the target at very low altitude. You will get a deduction of 30 seconds on your run when you drop a bomb within that circle. You get another 90 seconds, so for a total of 120 if you hit the target. You can take as many bombs as your jet can carry, so you can basically carpet bomb your target if you think that you're going to be more successful. However, be advised, more bombs means more weight, and more weight means more induced drag, means slower turnaround times. Then you want to go back to the airfield. This is, let's say, a little help for aligning yourself on the final leg here. And it's a precision landing. So you need to touch down at the 07 here. There's a mild tolerance to that, but not a large one, right? There's these 2 airshow cones, which sort of indicate that as well. And you have to come in below the airshow cones in the altitude, right? Because otherwise your landing will not be registered. You will have to go around and repeat it once until you actually land on the 07. The landing score is then determined by the length you need to brake down to 60 knots, which is when the S event by DCS is being triggered. This length is then divided by 20 to come up with the final time, right? The canyon is also divided by 1,000, by the way. After you slow down, you may want to accelerate or just maintain that 60 knots and taxi all the way to the end, to the airshow crowd, and park on parking spot 30. There will be green smoke to help you navigate that. You have to park here, and the jet will be taken from you in order to have your score being registered. Otherwise, if you flip over on taxiing because you couldn't wait for it, or otherwise will not get it because you're out of fuel, then too bad, you have to repeat your run. So, again, I have the Viper here as one of the potential jets going here. I have all the teens available in this mission. All the MiGs starting from MiG-21 and up, and also all the Sioux that you can fly as well. So feel free to pick any of your favorite aircraft for this mission. Basically, these are the aircraft that can carry either Mark 84s or Beta B 500s. Help yourself, pre-configure your jet on the ground before you take off, right? Master arm on, air to ground, already selected both bombs. Obviously, you could also fly with only one bomb if you feel lucky enough, but obviously you will be a bit untrimmed. Now I will hit full burners to take off, and again the F-16, but I guess also the MiG-29. And the MiG-29 even more severe, has a small fuel tank, and therefore cannot go full burners all the way. Obviously, MiG-29 is one of the fastest aircraft here, so that might be interesting. However, if you're out of fuel, you're out of fuel. So with the Hornet, I was able to go on that whole thing in full burners, and you see we're getting close here now to our circle. You want to go off the burners because otherwise your pilot will pass out and crash into the mountains here. And you go back full throttles after the turn, shoot right into the canyon. And again, to keep that video brief, I will use some warping here. It doesn't need to be too pretty. After all, we just need a blunt reference score that you can try to beat in the end. I've obviously done that a few times by now for debugging purposes. There's the occasional airshow cone that may or may not help you with the way, but obviously you can look at your waypoints too. As you can see, I already have the bingo fuel warning in my HUD, and now this is the IP. I'll have to pull up to like 3,500–4,000 feet, align myself with the target. You see the red smoke popped, and we have quite a crosswind, as you can see. So I usually have one wing hanging, the right wing hanging a little bit onto the target. I usually aim for the red doors. Now I go idle. Maybe have a 10 degree dive, 15 degree, and drop. Has been registered, so that's good. First 30 seconds saved, and then I will align myself with the runway. And perfect. We also had bullseye. We hit our target, and now we're heading back, right? In the Viper, as you can see, we're already quite empty, so I would advise you to only go mil power here if you actually want to get to that airfield. So here on the right you see the lake for reference point. I go off throttle once I pass it, including air brake, and then I see the bridge, and this is where I pull up once I leave my sight, and I do tight turns to bleed speed, which is, I guess, one of the most effective ways to lower speed. Try to align myself a little bit along the way. I'm below 250 knots. Pull out the landing gear. And now I guess we're golden. Alright, reasonable light pass angle. So the Viper flies very reasonable here at 140 knots if it's so empty. So this is what I tried to have up on touchdown, right? So still at full air brakes. I'm below the cones. There's the 0.7, touchdown on it. At the brakes, do aerodynamic braking as much as possible. Below 60 knots. And there you go. Touchdown has been registered. We get 28 for the landing score here, and 111 for the canyon run, right? You see that here on the right, top right here. So canyon run, landing, and total will be determined at the very end, which is the overall time. So it goes down here usually at 80 to 90 knots. Once that vehicle here on the right comes into view, I hit the brakes, because the Viper can be a bit tricky in corners if you're too fast. I get the nose rescue in. Yeah, that was already a bit too much, but I guess it's still forgiving enough to be rightened up. And again, you have to be on that parking spot at 0 velocity to be registered. So you don't want to flip over in that last turn and have to repeat your run over that, right? So you see the airshow crowd, and then you just hit the brakes, and your jet will be taken from you. There you go, score registered. All good. And this is how you have your run. So roughly 455 seconds for the whole run here. That is one of my better scores I've seen so far, and I guess 500-ish is, let's see, where I was able to get with most of my runs. So, hope to see you for the competition, and good night.